Hello, Phil from the future here. This is probably the best league that I'm going to play this whole year. This league is absolutely insane. The decisions matter so much on both sides of the battlefield. This is one of those times where if you're a regular viewer, watch the whole league, even if it takes you a couple of days to do it, it will be worth your time. Enjoy. This one was a treat to play. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video, and today we are going to be playing with Valakut Exploration Lands. And when I say Valakut here, I don't mean the land that deals damage if you have mountains, I mean actual factual Valakut Exploration, an enchantment with landfall that lets you play the card that you reveal from the top of your library. But more importantly, at the beginning of your end step, if there are cards exiled with this enchantment, put them into their owner's graveyard, then this enchantment deals that much damage to each opponent. So you have some lines where you play a land, you trigger one or more Valakut explorations, you either get a sweet card or you deal direct damage to your opponent. It's kind of a win-win. And if that land happens to be a fetch land, or I don't know, if you have a Life from the Loam and an Exploration, and you can just like keep playing multiple lands per turn, you can pop off pretty hard. The base deck list came to us from Edison. I made some changes though. The initial deck list just, I don't think had enough green mana in it. It had a bunch of really sweet situational utility lands, but at the end of the day, I want to cast my spells. I don't want to have to mulligan hands because I don't have the right color of mana. And since exploration is just so much better when it is played on turn one, especially on the play, I want to have enough untapped green sources that I can realistically cast this every single game that it is in my opening hand on turn one. And I also beefed up the number of red sources that were in here as well. The original version had Punishing Fire in it. I don't really know that Punishing Fire kills anything in Legacy anymore. Tamios have 3 toughness, Goyfs of various flavors are just outside of Punishing Fire range. I just added more Urza Sagas into the deck. At the end of the day, we gotta kill the opponent. And if we can kill them with tokens, or a 2020 that we produce via Dark Depths and Thespian stage, or direct damage via Valakut Exploration, I think that gives us a more proactive game plan. I don't think we need to react to everything that is possible to encounter in Legacy. We still have some good situational lands, the Bojuka Bogs, the Tabernacles, the Caracases of the world, but I took out some of the stuff like Echoing Deeps and Talon Gates of Madara that, while powerful, might not be as consistently good as just casting our spells. The big question that I still have in deck building here is, should I just cut some mana sources to just play 4x Malevolent Rumble? That's something that a lot of lands decks are doing these days, but Malevolent Rumble wasn't in the original design, so I'm going to leave them out. We'll see if I miss them. As far as the sideboard goes, there's a lot of unfair things that can happen in Legacy. I'm going to try to go fast as far as the sideboard goes, and when we get paired against combo decks, I want to be able to do something relatively consistently on either turn 1 or turn 2 to disrupt them. Since I'm going to spend so many sideboard slots on these Ancient Tombs here, I am not going to run Leyline of the Void to hedge for oops. I'm going to just run Endurance, which is fine versus a lot of graveyard-based combo, while also being just a reasonable thing to board in versus decks like Delver or Reanimator. So with that, let's go ahead and hop into some Magic here, folks. If you're excited about any new cards that are coming out from this Final Fantasy set, please consider checking out my sponsor, TOAMagic.com. They're great. I like them a lot. Promo code ThrabenU will save you 5% on your order. Plus, you always get free shipping. Maybe that'll make you like TOA too. If you're going to Vegas, check them out under the purple banner. You will be able to get my tokens and stickers and such from there if you don't catch me in person. With that being said, let's battle. I'm game for this. This is a turn 2 Valakut Exploration. We have some access to cool utility lands for crop rotation as well. Ooh, buddy. I like that. Yeah. I discard Caracas here. I'm going to pass the turn. The reason that I am playing out Wasteland specifically is to disincentivize my opponent from fetching a Surveil land right here. I don't care if I let them know that, like, I have access to Wasteland. I think as soon as I throw down a Mox Diamond, that is abundantly clear. Oh, you just not have more mana? Love that for me. Delicious. Good old Brainstorm lock. Well, I mean, start showing me your dazes and your Force of Wills. You gotta have something that made that hand keepable, right? Right? Yeah, there we go. So now my opponent will replay that one same basic island. Do I want maximum Valakut value? I believe that I do. Because I don't really care if this gets dazed and my opponent bounces that land back to hand if I just get to get Urza Saga going. Force of Will is fine. Urza Saga is a go. There is a Wasteland. I don't have crop rotation available right now. I can get myself another one in a minute. Tabernacle is interesting. I'm just gonna play out Yavimaya and pass the turn. Looted Delta into Up the Beanstalk. I think I just attempt to kill my opponent here. Yeah, I think I just attempt to kill my opponent. Dark Depths. Yeah. So my opponent was on the play with a hand that was likely to Brainstorm lock themselves, and they did Brainstorm lock themselves. It's possible my opponent's hand was supposed to be a mulligan. I don't know what the rest of the hand looks like, but I played Magic, and they didn't this game, so I won. So we've got beans going on over there. My Life from the Loam, Valakut Exploration, Urza Saga type stuff is going to be very good. Crop rotations are medium. They are great if they resolve and sketchy if they don't. Caracas is extremely variable, depending on whether or not my opponent is playing something like Tamiyo. I'm probably going to like cut Caracas and Glacial Chasm and probably Tabernacle here for more generic cards. Go away, Tabernacle text. Thank you. I think I am into Endurance. I think I would like an extra Boseiju in the deck. I think I keep all of the copies of Maze of Ith in respect of Murktide Regent. That's how my opponent turns the corner on the game. Maybe go down a crop rotation there for that. And like beyond that, it starts getting to, do I want a couple more Ancient Tombs to accelerate out Urza Saga / Valakut Exploration plans? Do I want Force of Vigor for beans and Leyline Binding type things? I think I am willing to go down another crop rotation for Force of Vigor. I know the crop rotation like handily just won us that game, but that was because our opponent was already stumbling. This is fine. This is perhaps not overly exciting in any capacity, but Wasteland's a hell of a drug. And oftentimes our Wasteland will knock our opponent off of more than one color at once. So, bam. Then I think I am willing to play out an Expedition map this turn. I'll get rid of a Taiga so that Yavimaya can make Maze of Ith tap for mana. Well, you know. Alright, there's a Force of Will. This is fine. I will make a regular old land drop, and then I just have Urza Saga online next turn. That's fine. Yeah. All day. All day. Ooh, yes. Because that just lets me go as quick as possible while my opponent is stumbling. And these Urza Saga tokens are going to be effing huge. Another Wasteland here as like a card that my opponent just rips off the top of their deck would be pretty unfortunate. But otherwise, I just have double Urza Saga activation into double Endurance. Yes. Mulliganing is good. Consider doing it. GG's. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com. If you want to see upcoming sets, if you want to understand commander brackets, or if you just want an awesome place to store all, and I mean all, of your deck lists, Moxfield is the place. You can organize all of your decks by folders, and you can even change the views. You like visual, they've got that. You like text, they've got that. Check out my Moxfield Pro Field if you want to see all, and I mean all, of the decks that I've been cooking up. Alright, I am very on the fence about whether or not this hand was actually a keep. It has some good things going for it, like turn 1 Bojuka Bog if my opponent is on something like Oops All Spells. It has the ability to hit Life from the Loam plus, like Wasteland later on. Am I fine losing crop rotation when I just get to Wasteland my opponent? Yes. Oh, they took the gamble instead. I was not expecting that. Hoo 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 hoo. Love that for me. Goodbye, Underground Sea. Opponents also was on 5 to start with. They might not have too many more lands over there. Wow, what a draw. Mox Diamond. Discard Blast Zone. I think play Urza Saga still, even if I don't end up using it. Play from the Loam with 2 targets. Have crop rotation available. Potentially to rebuy Boseiju if that ends up being relevant. I think I have some very good draws. I'm just going to take a draw. The illusion of choice. So let's throw down a Wasteland here and pass the turn. I still have crop rotation for Bojuka Bog available. I still have the ability to Wasteland my opponent. I don't really know what we are playing against yet. There's a pretty wide range. This could be something like Doomsday, could be Reanimator, could be a tempo deck on a very rough start. Sure, that's fine. If my opponent is playing fair, then Wasteland or Urza Saga Life from the Loam probably eats them alive. If they're playing unfair, I think there is still a chance for them to get a win. No dredge here. Ghost Quarter, I like that a lot. Bam and bam. I might just Mox Diamond here. I'm not going to equip the Boot Cistern anyway. So let's Wasteland this Underground Sea. I'm going to go ahead and just attack for 4 here. Opponent is at 13. I'm now going to attempt to get rid of this basic swamp, I think. I think I'm more scared of the basic swamp. Oh, there's more than one basic swamp. Understood. Am I bogging my opponent immediately? I don't think so. I don't think I have enough information yet to know whether or not I'm playing around Murktide Regent or Reanimator stuff or Doomsday style stuff. Opponent's at 12. Goif. Sure. I think I'm gonna take a random draw. I have a Life from the Loam in my hand already. Let's go Blast Zone, Saga, Ghost Quarter here. 1 and 2. That's a Force of Will, pitching a Daze. That is fine. So now, what I think I'm gonna do is go ahead and crop rotation, just like get rid of the Thespian stage here. And I think I'll pick up a Mazavith, disincentivize attacks. I could double block anyway, but more stock up. More land drops. No attacks from the opponent. At this stage, I think I will dredge. Oh, lots of goodies in there. Dark Depths, Thespian stage, and a Ghost Quarter, I think. Bam and bam. And now I just decide how quickly I want to play out this game. I think I am in no hurry. How many basics are over there? 3. So this is going to fetch a non-basic of some kind. Okay, more accurately, there are 4 total basic lands, right? Swamp, swamp, island, island, but I have gone through the other swamp already. Oh shit, that's a fucking Sholdred? We are mid-ranging so fucking hard over there. I respect it. Ancient Tomb. 4 mana. The One Ring. Sure. That's a little bit of a nuisance. It is something that might end up killing my opponent, though. I really need extra land drops here. I'm going to take a natural draw. Just trying to hit an exploration. That's not the one I had in mind. This is not technically good this turn. Ghost Quarter, Wasteland, Saga, question mark? Yeah? Let's go for my opponent's mana still. It feels like this is a path towards winning. It might take a little while, but like even if my opponent wastes the Mazavith, I can just either chump or double block, and I think either one of those is favorable for me. You can stock up. So now we're at the point where I could double attack into Construct Token, deal my opponent damage, Maze of Ith the thing that the Goyf blocks, and then do crimes with the One Ring and kill them with their own card. I think that's fine if I draw, or rather dredge another Maze of Ith. I think that makes it safe. Okay, my opponent's just done with me. That's fair. Yeah, we are in no rush in this match. So I know the One Ring is coming. I think at a minimum that means that I want Pithing Needle. Endurances are probably just fine as another annoying thing for my opponent to deal with. I know that they have Sheoldred. That probably means I keep Karakas. What's the wording on this? Damage. It doesn't prevent loss of life from things like Sheoldred. I'm going to go Tabernacle out. Don't think I need this. I think Crop Rotation is still quite good. I want the Pithing Needle. There's at least a Miser's Endurance to help check my opponent's graveyard in some capacity. Last Zone is probably pretty inefficient against my opponent's threats that they Ancient Tomb out. I might play another Endurance or a Boseiju in that slot. I do still have 37 mana sources in the deck, plus some other things that are going to find mana sources. This is a pretty medium opening hand. Like, I can turbo out Dark Depths Thespian stage, but if my opponent interacts with me, I just kind of have nothing else left. I think I'll mulligan this one. Yes. Endurance? I think Endurance. I think these two things tie up my mana in the short to medium term. Oh, we have gone deep for the One Ring. We have the ability to untap it. Ooh, that's big game. I am going to get Taiga here and accept the fact that sometimes this is awkward, but I really do... Wrong color. I really do want the bonus mana here. Nice. I think that means... Nah, let's do this. This gives me a lot of flexibility next turn. Ancient Tomb and pass. So now it's just like, do I want to turbo go for a kill? I don't think I do. I think I accept that I am probably winning the long game. I don't also need to try to win the short game. Brainstorm in response. Valakut Exploration is in play. I'm not going to show Dark Depths yet. That telegraphs what I am capable of too clearly. That is a Mox Diamond. We'll just turn that into a point of damage. That's fine. 19. Ponder from my opponent. I think they want to be throwing really cool haymakers at me. And I think if they're not throwing down, like, the One Rings and Goyfs and such, they're in a bad spot. Yeah, that's what they need to be doing. Okay. So, Dark Depths, Valakut Exploration, trigger Crop Rotation. That's mighty interesting. I have 2 mana to either make an Urza Saga or a Dark Depths. I can play Mox Diamond and Wasteland Minamo and put further pressure on my opponent's life total and resources. I think I'm just going to let that turn into damage, though. I don't know, maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe I'm just fucking wrong. I think I sacrificed my Maze of Ith. Nah, I have enough colored mana with just the Mox Diamond. Wasteland, this gets me another Valakut Exploration trigger for Life from the Loam. This goes to my graveyard. It does go to my graveyard, so I don't have to commit to it immediately. Wasteland Minamo. Pass. Yeah, you can draw your card. That's another theoretical damage, but One Ring protection. 14. Now I just, like, have Life from the Loam, plus Wasteland, plus Stage, plus Depths, plus Urza Saga. Yeah, that's fine. And now I just decide whether or not I'm trying to kill my opponent with Urza Saga tokens. I think I am. If there is something stupid like Brazen Borrower here, I get blown out by it. Ooh, I drew Lava Spur Boots. That's actually ever so slightly awkward. I was intending on putting that into play. This is, like, fine too. So we just shut off the One Ring as a resource. I've got 4 damage this turn in theory. Dress down instead. Sure. So I still have a Maze of Ith that can check creatures my opponent plays. They don't get cards off the One Ring anymore. They're taking 2 damage a turn from that, plus some amount of potential Ancient Tomb damage as well. Bam. Trigger. Expedition map. Yes, I am in past expedition map. 1 and 2. Crack Expedition map. Get Urza's Saga. Play Urza's Saga. Trigger Valakut Exploration. Reveal a Maze of Ith. That's just going to be damage. I've already made my land drop. I will play out Lava Spur Boots for the future. Yeah, it's good enough to get a fetch from my opponent. Because this, like, represents hasty Merit Lage as well as hasty Urza Saga tokens, both of which are a huge problem. But apparently my opponent found a good card that was worth keeping. They are down to 4. At this point, 1 Urza Saga token connecting is lethal. They are dead to their own 1 ring next turn, unless this is another 1 ring, which it is. No big deal. That's an exploration. I think I'll just hold that in hand for a minute. I'll pass a turn here. There's an argument that I could just get something equipped with Lava Spur Boots immediately, but if my opponent has something like Fatal Push available with that last mana, then I maybe lose out. That was a landslide of a win in my favor. I think this is just going to be a very, very tough matchup for my opponent. They are going slightly bigger than most other current decks in the format, but I am going slightly bigger than them. I just have a little bit more inevitability, and they weren't really able to control all of my elements. GG's. We are playing against Y2Fei, which is a hilarious username. Well done. And we've got a Polluted Delta. I have a pretty strong hand. Slightly less strong now. I imagine I lose the exploration here, but that might vary a little bit depending on like the speed of my opponent's hand. Like sometimes I could see taking Mox Diamond from this. I think in a vacuum this is my best card though. But if you take the Mox Diamond, I don't have green temporarily, which is what they're going for. I did add... Oh, fuck. I was supposed to play Lava Spur Boots there, obviously. No play from my opponent after dropping the land. That might mean something like Bowmaster is coming. Alright, well, we'll play Lava Spur Boots this turn. Around days, that's why we did it. Note that any single land will allow me to just do the Dark Depths thing in the not too distant future. Potentially, we might get it with haste. No play from my opponent. Are we combo then? Could be combo. Could be something like Doomsday that's just off to a little bit of a slow start. Eyeball and Marsh Flats. That sends an Esper vibe. It could just be a flex slot fetch land though. Mox Diamond. I am in for that. We will discard the Dark Depths. We will cast Life from the Loam, targeting the Dark Depths. We will play the Dark Depths, and now my opponent's in a tough spot. Because I am threatening a game-ending combo with haste if they ever tap out. And literally any land drop off the top gets me to that. If my opponent is a slower blue deck, I can also just grind them out with Life from the Loam here, so we're in a really good position. A Sheoldred's Edict style card is the thing that we need to be worried about. We've got the 4th land drop, another basic swamp, and a Goyf. So I just take a natural draw off the top here. I want literally any land. That's not it. Does Yavimaya change this? Yavimaya changes this, right? So like I float a mana with Thespian stage, and then I can have extra mana with Dark Depths. Crop rotation, sacrifice a stage, get Yavimaya, Dark Depths, stage, copy Depths, and that is death. Oh, that was easy. We appear to be good against blue decks, folks. I'm probably not going to sideboard too much. I might want some copies of Endurance, just as a generically good thing to play that puts more pressure on my opponent. Until I know whether or not my opponent has Tamiyo, Caracas is kind of in a middle zone where it may or may not be great. And I saw so few cards, I don't know how aggressive my opponent is versus how controlling they are, and that greatly changes my evaluation of Glacial Chasm. I'm not cutting mazes, I know that much. Needle can potentially do some things versus a Tamiyo or opposing Wasteland. I think I'm going to go down on Chasm. Keep Caracas, trim 1, crop rotation. That's what the vibes tell me to do. Oh boy, that's weird. So this is Force of Will bait, actually resolves, let me drop Maze as a bonus third land, and then try to mid-range my opponent. I think this is medium. It gets improved by a lot of draws, though. See what my opponent has. We're very, very insulated versus Thoughtseize. That's fine. I lost one of the 2 copies of Exploration. I will happily cast the other one immediately. And I think it's tactically correct to play that land, even if my opponent has not seen that card yet. It just means that they can't play out something like a Tameo and just pass the turn. Yeah, sure. Bam and bam. That puts pressure on this land. I have endurance around days that I can start doing. This can't fetch a basic island, notably. Third land drop. That's fine. So I think it's okay to let this happen. It is a Goyf. Sure. Opponent has all basic swamps here. I'm just going to throw some bad cards back into their deck. That is a 1/2 creature. I think I just offer trade and see what my opponent thinks of this. They do not accept my trade deal. I will drop Maze of Ith, and I think just play this out and pass the turn. There's some very fringe scenarios that can happen where I end up turning this into a 0-power creature and I just block it. Because Exploration is the only card in graveyard right now. I do kind of need a grinding card right now. A Life from the Loam, a gamble for Life from the Loam, a crop rotation for Urza Saga, and Urza Saga. I do need something. We can eventually wasteland that. Oh, there it is. The hard cast Fairy Macabre. Okay, sure. Okay, so this is really cool. So now I cast Endurance. I target my own graveyard. I block this Goyf. My opponent is forced to sacrifice their Spellbomb, or never mind. Yep, they just gave it up. That was even better value for me. Ask and you shall receive. Because Thoughtseize exists, I'm going to play this out this turn, even if I am not triggering landfall. Send it. Opponent is not interested in a chump block yet. Bam, bam, and bam. Wasteland, target Castle Lockwayne. And now it's opponent's turn. They are staring down theoretically lethal damage, but they can block. This is a long-term problem that my opponent's deck is perhaps not going to be well equipped to deal with. They can try to save this Spellbomb for a little while, but they might just need to crack it for a card in this situation. But now if I randomly hit a Life from the Loam off Valakut Exploration, it's very much not good for my opponent. I'm fine doing this pre-combat. What is that? That's gamble for Life from the Loam. Wall. Seems decent. So now I have Ward 1, and my opponent is tight on mana. Wow, they're just taking it. This gamble is half of my opponent's life total. My opponent has showed me Spellbomb and Fairy. There's presumably multiple of those. Maybe I should not do anything here with this gamble and just turn it into 1 damage. Then fetch lands. Actually, any land drop just starts killing my opponent. Not exactly how I thought that turn was going to go. I got very excited about the gamble. I think it's just a way to theoretically deny my opponent more relevant cards. Yeah. Good shit, Phil. Good shit. So now my opponent has done a 2-mana cycle, and that mana is super relevant when I have Ward and am... Oh my god. Not casting Gamble was such a good play. So happy with that. Well, that's gonna kill my opponent. Bam, Valakut, or another Valakut. And that is enough for a concession from the opponent. I believe we are now 3-0, 6-0. We are very good against the decks we are getting paired against. Let's hope this variance continues for us. Well, so, like, what if we drew any land that produced mana? What if we drew any land that produced mana? How many lands is this? So it's these 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. 28 hits out of 53. Greed. Greed wins today. And I think the reason why Greed wins is that if my opponent is playing a fair aggro deck of some kind or a tempo deck that would be looking to pressure my life total in the early game, I have resources to check that stuff. Yeah, like, good shit. Crop rotation is actually interesting. I think I will just start on Tabernacle here and be annoying. I don't think I need to Mox Diamond Lava Spur Boots immediately. I, certainly could. I don't, super want the Mox Diamond to get countered immediately. And if I play out the Mox Diamond, discard a Dark Depths, and pass the turn, I think that telegraphs the fact that I have Crop Rotation. Nice. Bam. Bam. Daze. That's fine. I'll discard a Dark Depths here. Hold up Crop Rotation. Or an opposing Wasteland here. I just have Life from the Loam on following turns. That seems fine. I can take 3 this turn, and then be totally fine after that. The Ground Sea comes back. Goyf, that's fine. I have the potential of just getting back Tabernacle in a second. A Boseiju. I think I am into Wasteland and just play Maze of Ith and pass. I'll take 3 damage, but I'm working towards Tabernacle, kill both of these. I accept. Cast Crop Rotation. Actually, I just want a land that can cast Life from the Loam, because then I cast Life from the Loam, get Tabernacle, and both die instantly. Is that true? A Force of Will plus blue card has to happen to punish that. Let's do a half measure. Let's get a land, but the land can be Bojuka Bog. So that turns those into 0/1s this turn and lets me Life from the Loam next turn. So it fogs the damage in the short term while killing these in the long term. Ooh, not bad. Tabernacle, Wasteland, Maze of Ith, 1 and 2. Force of Will plus blue card. No. Tabernacle just did Tabernacle. Tabernacled. All right. Endurance. You're in, bud. This version appears to be slightly lower to the ground than the versions that I've been playing against in other rounds. So I think, for example, I might keep Glacial Chasm in this time, whereas I've been boarding that out a lot otherwise. I don't yet know whether my opponent is going to have Tamiyo. I think it's likely. I'm going to go down on Gambles, and then I think I will probably just trim either a land or a crop rotation. I just kind of like all of my lands, though. I am okay trimming a crop rotation versus expected counterspells. It's possible I should board out a land and keep a Pithing Needle or something. Yeah, this is fine. There's a lot to like about this hand. I have an early defensive land. I have Dark Depths and Thespian stage stuff very quickly as well. Like, I just do it on turn 3 if I lead on Thespian stage on turn 2. I think I said that wrong. If I lead on Thespian stage on turn 1. Although I might not end up going that fast. I might, cast Life from the Loam as a distraction. Well, goodbye Life from the Loam. We got the full-on ouch in chat from the opponent. Lands are good, yo. I think I'm into it. Those aren't the best things to return. Ghost Quarter is pretty mid at this stage. I think I am just going to play out Dark Depths and pass the turn and be threatening my combo next turn. Maybe I'm supposed to do Ancient Tomb there. Alright, opponent probably needs some help here. So the cards that I care about are basically Wasteland, Brazen, Borrower, Sheoldred's Edict. Okay, there's one of the cards that I care about. But I do just have Life from the Loam in hand, so, A Valakut Exploration. That punishes me for not playing Ancient Tomb previously. So I am going to dangle the threat of this in play with no intention of actually doing this, but this just means that my opponent can't do something like tap out for a Bowmaster at end of turn. Famous last words. So opponent is saying, I have an answer to Merit Lage, or this is the greatest bluff of all time. I think I am not calling. I take it that they have it and start going down the mid-range rabbit hole instead. I think this is fine unless Kaito gets involved. Yeah. What did I just say? What did I just say? That's a lot of damage. So there's an emblem. Kaito is a hexproof jerk. Another Thespian stage. Okay. We'll work on getting our card advantage. That early Life from the Loam dredging missing was definitely a bummer for me. I might need a Pithing Needle for Kaito. Maze of Ith doesn't check that. Tabernacle doesn't check that. Kaito just is going to plus and hit me for a billion D this turn. And another Bowmaster. Sure. Yeah, that's a lot of damage. That's 7. Thoughtseize takes Life from the Loam. I guess I am not dredging that. Drop rotation. Alright, we're going places now. So, land drop. There's a Wasteland. I'm gonna fetch. I think we're going untapped land. I think I might need the mana potentially. An Exploration is interesting. So, Exploration essentially pays for itself. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to you. What is my wording on Glacial Chasm? Prevent all damage that would be dealt to you. Okay. So this is my Force of Will bait. Oh, I was successful. Nice. So now I crop rotation, sacrificing the Dark Depths that is not currently producing any mana. I get Glacial Chasm. Let's put that trigger on the bottom. Trigger Valakut Exploration. Another land under there. I will get rid of a Taiga. I have already played my second land. I will pass the turn. My opponent cannot wasteland my Glacial Chasm successfully. I just copy it with Thespian Stage. Now we're going to try to thread the needle with like Life from the Loam, Valakut Exploration, Glacial Chasm, copy Glacial Chasm with Thespian Stage sort of shenanigans. Surveil land from my opponent. Oh, they put a card on top. That's scary. Okay, we're going for it. So opponent is wastelanding the Glacial Chasm. So I will Thespian Stage, target the Glacial Chasm. Air quotes, deal 2 damage to myself with Ancient Tomb, but that damage is prevented. So this is destroyed successfully, but I've still got Glacial Chasm. My opponent is surveilling 2, but this does not actually draw a card because I have not lost life. Wait, hold on, didn't they top that card a second ago? Yeah, so they put 1 card on top and then they surveilled the Brainstorm away. I think I will go ahead and pay for this here. I will dredge. I'm going to attempt to I play a regular land and then cast Life from the Loam. I think I do. Let's play a new Thespian Stage, trigger Valakut Exploration. That's interesting. I think I stay the course though. So select Glacial Chasm, stage some other land 1 and 2. Alright, so now I have a new Glacial Chasm for next turn, and I can turn this Glacial Chasm into something like a Taiga before playing the next Glacial Chasm. Brainstorm's fine, and I would like to get myself to a spot where I beat a Wasteland. Ooh. Okay. Fuck. That's a hell of a combo. So I could turn this into a basic swamp to keep it, but then my opponent just kills me in combat, unfortunately. That was a great game. I think my opponent played that well. I think I had some different sequencing decisions that could have given me a little bit more of an edge. I think in respect of Kaito, I do want a Pithing Needle. Wasteland is also problematic for spots like what I was just in there. I could go down 1 Wasteland. I could go down the Caracas. I haven't seen Tamiyo yet. That doesn't mean Tamiyo's not there, but I haven't seen it yet. I would be comfortable with this. Okay. Opening hand is perfectly fine here. I'm going to plan on playing a Valakut Exploration on turn 2. Mox Diamond is cool if I get wastelanded. Otherwise, I'm not overly excited about it. I don't want this to get thought seized. Fantastic. Hey, there's the Tamiyo after I boarded out the Caracas. Ooh, don't mind if I do. I am 100% just playing this in 2 days here. Nice. And enchantments are pretty sticky. Again, there's going to be some stuff like Brazen Borrower that can take them out of play. But this is probably pretty strong. Land drop from my opponent. That means that they can start cracking clues. I will deal some amount of self-damage with Ancient Tomb over the course of this game. I wonder if playing fetch land prior to ponder is correct there, or if you're supposed to just ponder and leave the option to wasteland me. Like, looking at my hand right now, being wastelanded off of this Ancient Tomb so that I can't just drop another Valakut Exploration immediately would be super annoying. But I don't know my opponent's hand, and the context might change that a lot. I'm going to try to maximize my value here. My Valakut Exploration resolved last turn. There's a decent chance this one does too. No. Wooded Foothills. Trigger. Is that a Mox? Unclear whether or not I'm interested in that. I'm going to go ahead and fetch and see what the next card is. Go Taiga. Oh, it's an Urza Saga. That's a shame. I think I am not interested in the Mox, but it's pretty close. 17. I think my crop rotation mostly exists so that if my opponent wastelands me, I have a bailout. Because Wasteland is one of the cards that I care about the most right now. Notably, if my opponent puts something like a Brainstorm on the stack, I now don't have the ability to Caracas bounce the Tamiyo in response to the Brainstorm. Yes. A Goyf is fine. What is the wording here? At the beginning of your end step. Okay. I think I'm into this here. I get Thespian stage. Trigger. There is a Taiga. Yeah. I was really planning on just jamming, but this is really strong. Let's just always yield to these. Exploration, unfortunately, gets stranded in exile. But that's just 3 damage. 14, then 13. So Almaze, our Goyf friend here, takes 0 from Tamiyo. Tamiyo is going to transform. Wasteland is great for my opponent. They're not firing it off immediately. So, Dark Depths, double trigger. Boseiju and Bojuka Bog. I don't think I'm interested in any of that. Can't play them anyway. This will just be 2 more damage to my opponent. They are at 11. They can crack a clue here. I wish that I had a little bit more real mana. With a little bit more real mana, I get to do really cool Blast Zone things. Sure. I think we are going Crop Rotation, Sacrifice Dark Depths. I have another one. That's good enough for a Force of Will. So much for my Blast Zone plan. Nice. What's my plan for this? Don't care, just make land drops and win is probably the answer. Fetch land is good. Bojuka Bog is good. Urza's Saga? Green and 1. Opponent could draw a couple of cards in response here. Try to hit Force of Will plus blue card randomly. I wonder if opponent was not supposed to plus Tamiyo and was supposed to minus and get Force of Negation for this exact scenario. I also kind of wonder if I just play Wooded Foothills here and just attempt to deal 4 damage to my opponent immediately, rather than clearing their graveyard. There's some crazy high upside plays where I hit an Exploration in one of those 4 cards. I could buy that. Maze of Ith, Thespian stage. Fetch. Grab a Taiga. Triggers again. Lava Spur Boots? I don't think so. That's just 4 damage to face. And those triggers drop my opponent to 6. Opponent's got something going on. Just sewers. That's fine. They topped the card. They're Bowmasters now. Surgical Extraction on Life from the Loam. Yeah. That's not too scary, actually. Like, I still have the potential to make a 20/20 while dealing roughly half of my opponent's life total to them. And I don't think I was dredging Life from the Loam next turn anyway. Last zone would have been a good hit, though, admittedly. I wonder if my opponent is supposed to Wasteland Maze of Ith here, hit me for 3, and make it so that I can't Thespian stage copy Maze of Ith. And they just try to kill me before I kill them. This is a very tough game. This is a great game of Magic. Alright, Tameo to 8. Yeah, they're going for it. I agree. I will take 3 going to 11. And Urza's Saga. Is that better than Bojuka Bog? I don't think it is. I think Bojuka Bog prevents me from just eating a Murktide Regent or another similarly sized threat immediately. Is that worth casting? That seems like it's worth casting. Alright, it's in play. My opponent is at 4 life. Every land drop I do deals 3 damage to them. That's 4 as of end stop. Sink into Stupor, bouncing a Valakut Exploration. Yeah. So my opponent said made a mistake there. Yes, absolutely. So my opponent should have just bounced one of the Valakut Explorations that had a card under it as to not take bonus damage. That might be the difference between life and death this game, that singular point of damage, because if I draw a fetch land, that is just 4 damage from Valakut Explorations. And my opponent is only going to have either 3 or 4 mana. So despite the fact that they're going to have a bunch of cards, they might not be able to deal with what I'm throwing down all that well. Plus I can just threaten a 20/20 next turn as well. Not anymore. That is a Goyf. That is a real shot at lifelink. That is very good for my opponent. They will die if I draw a fetch land, or a way to make a second land drop. I will take 2. 9. Bobble draw? That's a fetch land. That'll do. Trigger. Fetch. Trigger. I'm technically supposed to cast Valakut Exploration before I do all of this. I got excited though. Cast it anyway now. Force of Negation. Okay. 4 damage. 2. And 4. Yeah, opponent says there it is. The 1 damage mistake took down the game. GG. What an incredible round of Magic the Gathering. That is why we play Magic right there. And we are now playing for a trophy. But our opponent here did draw blood. I have a medium power level opening hand. I'm going to keep it. The Life from the Loam is actually not great right now, unless Wasteland is good. If Wasteland is good, then this Life from the Loam is insane. But if my opponent opens on, say, Basic Island or something like that, this Life from the Loam gets a lot less good. Aha, you fool. You played an on-basic land, but I do lose my booties. So sad. Okay, so the Life from the Loam is batshit insane here. My opponent opened... Oh, nice. Just sort of coincidentally on an Underground Sea. I'm not even going to show them the mocks here, I don't think. Opponent does have another land. Bog? I don't think I need to bog yet. Dazeable Mox Diamond. Discard Ancient Tomb. Drop a land. Play a Life from the Loam. The reason that I go for the Dazeable Mox is that if my opponent does bite and daze this or counter this for some reason, then I can do a Surveil land as my land drop for turn. Okay, cool. I don't need lands right now. I would just rather find something like an Exploration. Let's just play a Wasteland and pass so my opponent can't do a Surveil land. Sure, this is fine. Basic Swamp. Oh, how fucking unfortunate. How fucking unfortunate. What do I do for an Archon? I can maze it. Raucous doesn't bail me out. Okay. I can also just produce a 20/20 post-combat. Oh my god, my opponent doesn't have it. Holy shit! I get to Sorcery Speed Bojuka Bog. Oh! No dredge. That was incredibly lucky. Bojuka Bog, target you. I'm now going to Crop Rotation, sacrifice Bojuka Bog. I don't care if this gets countered, I'm just doing this so that I can Life from the Loam back Bojuka Bog to my hand. Nice. I was prepared to Wasteland my own Bojuka Bog to get it back. So this is just gravy. And now we just want to look for a Dark Depths to pair with this. Tamiyo is fine. I'm hopefully not leaving my opponent with mana. Looks for Caracas slash Blast Zone slash Ghost Quarter. It's Urza's Saga instead. Wasteland that. Life from the Loam with 3 targets. Is Surveil Land or Urza Saga better? Where did my Graveyard Hate end up? Sideboard? No, I took out. I had a 1 mana Graveyard Hate card. I took it out of the deck. Let's get Urza Saga going. This probably allows me to take natural draws. I can still Wasteland my opponent if need be. I suspect that they have an Animate Dead available to them. Let's just take natural draws. It was Life from the Loam all along. I will just Surveil Land this turn. Opponent does not hit another natural land drop, and the clues that they are accumulating don't actually do much. I also could Pithing Needle the backside of Tamiyo. I think I am not doing that. I think I just beat my opponent to death with Hasty Construct tokens. Expedition Map for Ghost Quarter is definitely a thing, though. I do not need a Taiga. Just take a regular draw, a Thespian stage. Yeah, let's make a friend. Those are 3/3s. Oh, I don't have the Pithing Needle in game 1. JK. Expedition Map is sort of interesting. I don't think I care about the Tamiyo that much, though. So let's Mox Diamond, discard Ancient Tomb, play a new Urza's Saga. I forgot about the Lava Spur Boots going to graveyard in the early game. Send that in. Opponent's at 12. Saga, Taiga, Wooded Foothills, 1 and 2. Casual, 7 lands in hand. At what point is Tamiyo for life? Not this turn, apparently. Do not want more land. Got more land anyway. This is 10 damage. Yeah. Bam and bam. Opponent is at 2. I will drop yet another Urza Saga. I could also try to get a Thespian Stage Urza Saga copy going. It does not appear to me that the game is going that long. Alright, we put the win on the board. We got a little lucky, I'm not going to lie. So my opponent presumably had Animate Dead and was trying to spike the second land to get their Archon into play, which probably beat me 90+% of the time. We then got a little lucky that they stumbled over lands. This was turn 9, and they just didn't find another land. I had other lines that I could have taken. There was a lot of safety in the Bojuka Bog. So I definitely want the Endurances. I can play this game 2 very different ways. I could play this in a way where I try to stop my opponent from casting spells fully. Or I could just play this as get out of the first couple of turns and then out mid-range my opponent. The existence of cards like Goyf make it pretty awkward to tilt fully down this direction. I think I'm going to play Ball versus the fair stuff. I don't think I need Tabernacle. Keeping Tabernacle gives me an out versus a Resolved Archon, though, where I just Ghost Quarter all of my opponent's lands away. I'm going to assume that that's kind of unrealistic, though. I think I get rid of Glacial Chasm as well. Keep Blast Zone for Tamiyo. Gamble for Bojuka Bog is very real. Expedition Map for Bojuka Bog is very real. I'm going to go down 1 Ancient Tomb and 1 Win Condition. Possible for game 3 I end up playing all of my various spheres. I don't think I like this hand. I don't even gamble for interaction on turn 1 since my red land ETB's tapped. I would keep this in a fairer matchup, but I think I need to respect what my opponent is capable of. This is fine. This has crop rotation for Bojuka Bog immediately. And let's throw back 1 Exploration. Land drop and pass. I am willing to cast an Exploration here. My opponent has a counterspell and it hits Exploration. Great. Otherwise, I just end up with crop rotation for Bojuka Bog being available immediately. If my opponent just has the end of turn Entomb, it is a Surveil land. Hopefully it doesn't just spike a giant monster. It does not. Second land drop, and just passing the turn. This is great. I would love to draw a land. Technically, that's what I asked for. Okay. So I will attempt to play out Valakut Exploration here. Give my opponent a nice counterspell target. Again, trying to make it so that my crop rotation is increasingly more likely to resolve. Play Yavimaya. Keep the untapped one. No, we'll take 1 damage off of that. Boom. Oh, are you gonna entomb while I can still cast this crop rotation? That would be fucking sick for me. Oh, it's a petty theft. That's fine. Due to the way they did that, I still get the end of turn trigger. So that's something that we saw in the previous round as well. Wasteland on the Urza Saga. Crop rotation. Sacrifice Urza Saga. This just lets me play Valakut Exploration and continue to mid-range. I think for the medium term, I could pick up a Wasteland. I could just pick up the Urza Saga that my opponent was scared of. I think I'm going to get a Wasteland. Alright, cool. Because, like, I have Wasteland, Life from the Loam, potentially coming. Endurance is really cool, too. I think I'm going to pass the turn with Endurance available. That's fine. Yep. 19. Next land drop. Oh, that's a Gwaif. Yeah. Alright, I'm going to get some free value here. I will cast Endurance. My own graveyard is contributing more towards growing this. My opponent only has lands. I have land, enchantment, and instant. I think I am going to nuke my own graveyard despite the fact that I am working towards Urza Saga. And I think I am blocking the token so that I don't put a creature in graveyard. Let's just keep this small. Last zone. That's interesting. I think I don't want this dazed right now. Yeah. I think I am going to Wasteland my opponent off of 3 mana here. I know Brazen Borrower is potentially coming. And then try to stabilize using Life from the Loam, Valakut Exploration. I'm glad I didn't bring in giant pile O spheres based on how this game is playing out. There could still just be a combo finish that eats me alive, to be clear. That is another petty theft, meaning that the Gwaif gets to get in there. It's only hitting for 1, so hopefully my opponent doesn't randomly spike a creature. Oh, it stopped them from drawing an Entomb. So, now what? Do I gamble immediately? I don't think so. Multiple Brazen Borrowers coming up is kind of a pain in the butt. Alright, let's see what the Valakut Exploration card is. It is a land. I can make that bonus land drop due to Exploration. Let's put the Valakut Exploration trigger on the bottom here. Thespian stage can just go to my graveyard. Valakut Exploration trigger. It's a Maze of Ith, which I'll get in a minute. Endurance can be cast here. I have to do this with suboptimal timing. So I'll just put all those crappy lands back into my opponent's deck. And then I will cast a gamble, bringing a Life from the Loam to my graveyard. So I'll deal a damage to my opponent. Next turn, I get 2 Life from the Loam for Maze of Ith, unless my opponent does something to disrupt that. Then I can start copying Maze of Ith and hopefully beat Brazen Borrowers. Life from the Loam plus Exploration plus Valakut Exploration is a lot of value. I will trade in a fucking heartbeat. Absolutely. And Entomb. Sure. Or an Atraxa, you've got it. So that's still fine for me. Reg Life from the Loam, target Maze, Dark Depths, that's a good hit, and probably Wasteland, 1 and 2. Nice. Maze of Ith is land drop 1. That solves this problem. An Exploration? Yes. Green. Dark Depths is land drop 2. Trigger Valakut Exploration again. Pujuka Bog from the top rope, taking out the Atraxa. What a fucking pull. So now I have, and this taps for mana. So 1, 2, Thespian stage copy plus Maze of Ith activation. I don't need to cast that Pithing Needle. I guess I could cast it on Wasteland so that nothing disrupts me. Ooh. Random Archon is cool for my opponent. They don't pull it out of the graveyard this turn. I take it out on my next turn. I just maze this. They don't put my Deuter into play. I don't care about Kaito here. 15. Alright, cool. So Thespian stage, target Dark Depths, 1 and 2. The one with no ice counters, produce a 20/20. This is perhaps not going to kill my opponent immediately, but I think my Bojuka Bog beats them. Consign to memory. Alright, you may counter this ability. Fun fact, it still has no counters on it, so it re-triggers immediately, producing a 20/20, and my opponent now does not have a blocker. They are at 18 life. I will dredge life from the Loam. I will go to combat. I will declare attackers. We have gotten the GGs from the opponent. That is a 5-0 with Valakut Exploration Lands. Did we get lucky at a couple of points throughout the league to achieve this 5-0? Yes, absolutely. But I think we played pretty darn well today. So did a couple of our opponents, though. All right. Overall thoughts on the deck list. I mean, we 5-0'd. The deck was really good. But I do want to say something here. Had we gotten paired against, like, Nadu and Oops and Cephalid Breakfast and things that were just ready to kill us on turn 1, that's what all of this stuff in the sideboard existed for. We didn't really use it today in this league because we played just almost exclusively against fair blue stuff, which we were very, very well equipped to deal with. If you are in a local metagame that is just full of blue-black nonsense, pick this up. It's going to be good. I'm sure there is still some tweaking to be done to the mana base. It felt largely good. It is possible that you should try to squeeze in a couple more fetch lands into the deck because of how good they are with Valakut Exploration. It is possible that Pithing Needle belongs in the main deck. It is possible that one Urza Saga fetchable piece of Graveyard Hate belongs in the deck somewhere. Generally speaking, this is a really good start to a deck, though. This was very fun to play. I will also say I think this deck is very hard to pilot. And that's not me going like, oh, good job, Phil. You 5-0'd with this. You're a genius. I think the margins for wins and losses are often going to be very small. And there were times where literally a single point of life was the difference between life and death, I think on both sides of the battlefield. I think I stabilized a game at 2 life. I think my opponent lost a game in round 3 or 4 by a single point of life. This is the skill-intensive Magic that I like to see. This gets my seal of approval. All right, folks, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, throw me a like or a comment on the way out. It helps a lot. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. And if you need some cards, you know where to go. See ya!